Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Luffy Went Into Hatred Part 5. Now, I don't know when I'm actually gonna finish this or whatever, but I have an idea on how to end this, but yeah. Okay, so let me do a recap on what happened last time, or not really, just a short recap. Luffy went to save Ace. He did save Ace, but he did his mask did get broken because of Gramps, showing that his face is Monkey D. Well, showing that he is Monkey D. Luffy, and Luffy explained that he is pain, he is hatred, he is despair. He should be the one to kill everything and destroy the higher anarchy or whatever, the hierarchy. And of course, with that happening, he already killed 3 of the emeralds, the lava, the ice, and what's called the light eater. Sengoku, he easily kicked the shit kicked the shit out of him easily. And Gramps, he easily just kicked him also, punched him mostly. But Luffy killed warlord that was actually a robot, not actually the real one. But yeah. Now, we go into Luffy now. Well, okay, so Luffy has about 10 billion berries. I don't remember how much I actually put on him, but he has 10 billion berries because he did kill Blackbeard. He killed a lot of people. And of course, with that happening, he's actually considered one of the most dangerous people instead of being called a Sea Emperor. So, a Sea Emperor will be like Ace. Ace will actually become a Sea Emperor. And of course, Zoro will somewhat become a Sea Emperor because he managed to get to 1 billion. But yeah. Now, with that happening, we go into Luffy. Luffy, it's been about 2 years. So yeah, it's been about 2 years and Luffy is 19. With Luffy being 19, Luffy has trained his army. Luffy has an army called the Vanguard Army. Now, this army has, a bunch of people that has pain and all that, or lost or whatever because of, the fact that Celestial Dragons treat him like slaves or whatever. Luffy has went through so many Celestial Dragons and killed them and also freed the slaves. With that happening, multiple slaves decide to join Luffy and his army to change and destroy the Celestial Dragons and the High Anarchy. So basically, the slaves are pretty pissed that the Marines didn't do jack shit to help them, so yeah. So, of course, Luffy, he's on an island that, no one actually claimed at all. Because this island was unlivable until Luffy came. Luffy is a god himself. Now, Luffy still has the mask. This mask is just broken. Instead of having the blue part, he only has a half. It's just half. Now, of course, Luffy is just kind of, just doing some paperwork. Not really paperwork, but like strategy and all that. Because this is when he's gonna go take out the Sea Emperors. So, Big Mama and not Big Mama. He's actually going to go take out Doflamingo. But before that, this is where he hears commotion. Now, we go to the commotion part. Like 5 fighters from five Vanguard people are right now just fighting against these people, mostly pirates. A man with red hair and other people appear. Now, of course, these Vanguard armies, the 5 people that are for Luffy's army, are fighting against Shanks. Now, of course, they are only low tier and actually haven't had that much experience. So, of course, when they fight against Shanks, they get kind of knocked out by Shanks just using Conqueror's Hawking. Now, Shanks only wanted to go to this island because he doesn't know that Luffy is here. He just overheard that Luffy has become one of the most dangerous people and not being the Pirate King. He wants to find Luffy so he can actually ask why. Why did he change his goals? But of course, since these people got knocked out, this is where Luffy, he tells his elites. So Luffy has 5 elites. Actually, not 5 elites. He has 6 elites in total. These 6 elites actually has Devil Fruit abilities. And of course, they are, elites. Now, of course, Luffy tells him to come along And all of them do have, well, special weapons. One has, well, a staff. One has two swords. Another one has mostly guns and all that because he's a gun expert. Another one has a, what's called, a spear. Another one has an arrow, a bow and arrow and all that. And one of them has an axe. So yeah. So also wait, let me say that again. So it's two swordsmen. No, not two swordsmen. Swordsman with two swords, guns, bow, axe, staff, and instead of being, well, not a staff, a spear staff and all that, but instead of like the spear guy being, it's actually a scythe user. Now, of course, they are going along with Luffy. Now, Luffy disappears, and of course, they disappear also, and they reappeared in front of, well, Shanks. This is where Luffy does have his hood on. All of the elites have their hoods on. Because Luffy has, well, first of all, how to actually see from, well, the weaker version is because the elites have their hoods on and, of course, masks. But people that aren't, well, elites or anything, they only have blank white mask. Now, of course, this is where Luffy says Shanks. Shanks looks at the masked man with the hood, kind of cracking all that. And he sees an eye. This is where Shanks says, "Who are you?" Luffy says, "You are not red eye. You are red-haired Shanks." "Hello there, old friend." And of course Shanks says, "Who are you exactly?" This is where Luffy says, well, he takes out his, well, not takes out, he takes down his like hood and of course takes off his mask and says, "Shanks, it's been a long time." Shanks says, Luffy, please, don't fight me. I just want to ask one question." Luffy says, I'm sorry, Shanks, but you can take your hat." Luffy takes out his, like, because he had the, what's called, hat behind him. Of course, the hood kind of just blocked it and all. And of course, Luffy throws the hat back at Shanks. Shanks grabs the hat and says, Luffy, just tell me why." Luffy says, "I can't tell." Well, I mean, I already told everyone who actually watched the video. Because, yes, they did record when the whole execution happened. So, of course, everyone did see what happened. So, of course, Shanks says, "Luffy, I can't let you just go down this path. Tell me why. Just let me know why." But Luffy says, "Don't come any closer." That's where Shanks says, "Luffy, I'm gonna have to stop you so you won't send this world into darkness." And Luffy says, "But that's too late." Luffy pulls out his own sword, well, his own two swords, and Shanks gets ready and pulls out his sword. So Shanks has a, what's called, sword that's actually, I think, one of the 7th grade weapons. Or what was it? I think there were 7th grade. No, not 7th grade. There is these what's it called? I think Shanks. I think a sword was one of the 12 supreme god weapons or something. Grade weapons. I think that's what it's called. So of course Shanks just pull it out, and of course he says, "Luffy, I'm gonna have to stop you." Luffy says, "Then try." So one of Luffy's swords turned that into a lightning blade, while the other kind of goes into a mystical red aura and all that. Well, mystical, just red around it. These weapons aren't one of the 7th grade weapons, but mostly weapons that Luffy discover. So yeah. Now, of course, Shanks' pirate crew kind of gets ready to fight against, well, Luffy. But instead of fighting against Luffy, he fights against the elites. So, of course, we go into Shanks and Luffy. Luffy says, "I'm sorry, Shanks, but even though I don't want to hurt you, you are a Sea Emperor and I need to get rid of you." That's where Shanks says, "You don't need to do this, Luffy." And Luffy says, "But I do. Now, die!" Luffy rushes at Shanks. Shanks uses Conqueror's Haki first to try to put down Luffy into, well, what's called, weigh Luffy down. Luffy is not weighed down at all. And so Shanks noticed this, and so he throws a sword. Well, not throwing a sword, legit, I mean like swing his sword at Luffy. Luffy blocks it with both his swords. And then lets go of one of them to stop blocking it, and then swings one of his swords. Most of his lightning sword was swinging at Shanks. Shanks managed to dodge, and of course Shanks does put Armament Hawking. I think he only uses. No, I think Shanks does have all three of them. So Shanks does put Armament Hawking into his arm, so he can try to not the one that's gone, but the arm that has what's called the sword, and put Armament Hawking into the sword. Swings at Luffy. Don't just say slash at Luffy. Luffy notices slash and uses his lightning sword to does a slash. A lightning slash at the slash attack. Hits both of them, and it just it just stops, okay? So it just hits and collides, and that's all. Luffy rushes at Shanks and says, "I'm sorry, Shanks, but you have to die." And of course Shanks said, "Oh really?" So he uses Observation Hawking to dodge one of the attacks. Luffy notices and uses his Observation Hawking to know where Shanks is gonna dodge. And Shanks tries to dodge one of the attacks from Luffy. Luffy, he swings what's called his lightning sword first, and then uses what's called red sword at Shanks. Shanks was going to dodge, but Luffy kicks him in the what's it called, chin, throwing him up. So he was like, "Damn it, I can't lose." So of course he does a flip, and then he just says, "Armament Hawking." So he put Armament Hawking into his sword and all that again, and rushes at Luffy at this time, going even faster than normal. Luffy says, "You will have to die, Shanks, for the greater good." Luffy goes and puts Armament Hawking into his blades. Now, of course, Luffy's Armament Hawking is pure black, just pure hatred and despair. So he rushes at Shanks. They both collide, and just a big shockwave just happens. Everyone gets knocked back. The elites kind of gets knocked back but manage to stabilize, while the Shank pirates actually could not stabilize and actually get flung back into the sea. Now, none of them are double fruit users, so they are fine. But of course, their boat is kind of rocky and all that. It's kind of about to fly away and all. Not fly away, I mean float away. But of course, this is where Shanks says, "Luffy, listen to me." Luffy says, "I'm sorry, Shanks." This is where Luffy, he pulls out a vial, and of course, he stabs Shanks in what's called, he drops one of his weapons down, and of course, wait, let me say this again. He uses one of his devil fruit powers that allows him to actually create another arm out. This is where this arm pulls out a vial and stabs Shanks in the arm that, was kind of eaten and all that by the sea dragon and all that. And Shanks goes, "Argh!" And then Luffy knees him in the stomach, knocking him towards the boat. This is where Luffy says, "Hey, Shank pirates, take back Shanks and retreat. I will not kill you this time, but if you try to invade our what's called island again, I will kill you." So of course, the Shank pirates had to leave with Shanks, because Shanks got his ass beat by Luffy. But of course, Shanks does have the hat, the straw hat. Luffy, on the other hand, is right now going back to his island. He does tell the six elites to right now just grab the what's called unconscious soldiers and bring them to the medical room and all. But yeah, Luffy leaves and goes back to his office. He does have an office and all that. So that's where Luffy kind of just pulls back his mask on his face and puts on his hood and disappears. Now, we go into, what's it called, Doflamingo holding this contest. And of course, this is where Luffy actually arrives to Doflamingo holding this contest and all that. Luffy is disguised. Instead of having that whole disguise like original canon, he's disguised pretty damn good. He has a gray hood. he kind of changed his face to kind of look like from someone in the crowd or anything. Some unrecognized face and all that. And of course, because he does have every devil fruit I mentioned, he can actually does change his, well, what's it called, face and all that. And of course, he is just, well, he did tell one of his what's called leech to just knock out that person, throw him into a sea or whatever. While Luffy goes into the fight arena and all that. Now, of course, he kind of recognizes his name as Sanche. So, of course, that's his fake name and all that. And, of course, well, the same thing would happen like in original canon. But Luffy does not really try. For, what's called, the contest Devil Fruit is actually kind of, instead of being like the, what's it called, Ace's Devil Fruit, it will actually be Blackbeard's Devil Fruit. Since Blackbeard is dead. So yeah, Doflamingo only managed to do this because he managed to grab what's called the Yami Yami no Mi. But yeah, of course this is where Luffy is only doing this because he's trying to find where Doflamingo's at. He doesn't care about this contest about the Yami Yami no Mi. But of course this is where a man with no shirt, some shorts, some shoes, and an orange hat appears. Now, of course, the orange hat has a, well, smiley face and a mad face and all that. And, of course, has what's called a necklace. Now, this is, well, Fire Fist Ace, the Fire Emperor. Sea Emperor. He's now a Sea Emperor. And is right now fighting and all that. So, he is just beating up a bunch of, like, champions and all that. Just because he's actually going to get this devil fruit for a present. Why? For a present he knows and now sees that he isn't dead. So let me do a flashback into where Ace was at. So after the whole, grab back Ace and put him in the pirates and blah blah blah, he's with Whitebeard and he was recovering. Now Ace was horrified, shocked at finding out Luffy is a red-eyed god slayer. A man who killed 7 celestial dragons. Now, there should be... wait. So, there is 10 celestials from the center, or I think there was 20. I don't know. So, it's 20, I'm gonna just say, but Luffy managed to kill 7. Now, of course, with Ace seeing this and having kind of a breakdown, but then finding out he is now a Sea Emperor, he kind of left what's called Whitebeard's, like, crew and all that. He did make an alliance with Whitebeard and all that, but he kind of found out he's an emperor, so he kind of got his own crew from Whitebeard's kind of main. Yeah, you get the point. Basically, with that happening, Ace kind of met someone stranded in an island. Not really stranded in an island, but a man just jumped on Ace's boat, and of course this is where Ace says, "Who are you?" The man had a hat, blonde hair, and a scar. That's where Ace kind of recognized this person, being Sabo. Sabo, who was basically the, his other brother, who should have been dead, and Ace kind of got mad and tried to attack Sabo. Sabo says, "Hold up, Ace, do you not remember me?" And Ace says, "You're not dead, but, wait, since he found out that Sabo wasn't dead, he now thought of Luffy. He was like, "You're not dead. Now we can go find Luffy. We can stop him." And Sabo says, "Luffy who?" And Ace says, "Wait, you don't remember Luffy?" Ace says, "I'm just joking with you. I know what happened to Luffy. It's horrifying that Luffy went down a dark path just because I died." And of course, Ace says yes. And of course, this is where Ace said. So I'm gonna pass this and all that. Since Since Shank kind of lost, that's when Ace and Sabo kind of bump into a boat. And of course, this is where the pirates of Shanks says, "Who are you?" This is where Ace kind of goes up and says, "What do you want? Wait, you're the red-haired pirates." This is where Shanks kind of gets up And of course, his arm is healing. Yes, the vial that Luffy stabbed him with into his ripped arm is actually healing. Slowly but kinda making him a new arm. He's kinda confused what is happening. He thought, Luffy poisoned him or something. No, this is actually helping him instead. Now, the vial that Luffy gave to Ace was actually a healing vial to actually heal him from any wounds or anything that he broke. Because he did kick what's called Ace back into the white beard pirates. So yeah. Of course, this is where Ace said, "You're red hair Shanks, aren't you?" And red hair Shanks says, "You're Ace, Pargesto," something like that. And this is where Ace said, "Who are you?" He points at the blonde hair. The blonde hair says, "My name is Sabo, the brother of Ace and Luffy." Shanks widens his eyes and says, "We might have a chance." And this is where Ace says, "What do you mean we might have a chance?" I tried to reason with Luffy. Instead of, telling Luffy to stop this whole thing, he instead fought against me and kicked my ass. Of course, he is stronger than that of a Sea Emperor. Then again, I am actually one of the weakest Sea Emperors. This is where Ace just says, "Then, how can we get him back?" Shanks says, "I don't know. He does have the straw hat anyway." Not Sabo, Shanks does. And of course, this is where Ace realized, "Wait, you have the straw hat?" "Yes, because Luffy gave it back to me when he kicked my ass. He just threw it back at me and says, goals are changing. And a new era will happen." Yes, Luffy did say all that. I just forgot to mention that. But yeah. But of course, this is where Ace says, "We gotta stop him. We can't just let him kill those of the the high anarchy. Basically, the people that are higher than them. We can't just let him bring darkness into this world." And so, of course, they nodded and they made a plan. So the plan was Ace was supposed to go to get the Yami Yami no Mi and give it to Sabo, just in case Sabo needs it, in case Luffy decides to attack him anyway and doesn't care no more. Of course, this is where Luffy recognized Ace, but of course, this is where you kind of do skip a couple matches, and Luffy does defeat a couple people and all that. Rebecca, who is the pink hair girl, kind of met Ace and did kind of ask Ace for help and all that. But of course, this is where Ace is going against the gray hood figure. Basically, Luffy. This is where, Doflamingo's kind of happy and all that, kind of laughing, seeing that Luffy hasn't showed up. And this thank God. He's laughing from the castle somewhat. Or I forgot where he was again. But yeah. This is where he is at the castle and all that. And of course, Luffy's elites found out where Doflamingo's at. So when Ace was about to fight against Luffy, this is where an elite appears. One of Luffy's elite spies. And of course, this is where Luffy says, "State your progress till you find him." This is where the elite spy says, "Yes, my lord. We found him. He is at the castle. He did terrible things. We freed those slaves and got them new places and all that." Luffy nodded. And so Luffy takes off his, the gray hood and all that. And gets rid of the fake illusion on his face and all that. Well, mostly the, Devil Fruit ability. And it shows Luffy's face. But of course, with a mask. The half-broken mask and all that. Now, of course, is where, Ace says, "Luffy, wait, you're here. But that only means one thing. You're after Doflamingo, aren't you?" And Luffy says, "What if I am, Ace? Or should I say, Sea Emperor, Fire Fist, Ace?" This is where Ace says, "I won't let you. I can't let you. I need to bring you back to the light." This is where Luffy says, I'm so sorry to tell you, Ace, but I will never go back to the light until I destroy those of the high anarchy. I will show them the true darkness and hatred I have. This is where Ace says, I won't let you, rushes at Luffy, but Luffy disappears. And Ace was like, no! And of course, this is where Luffy and his elites, like what's it called, soldiers and all that, the army of the Vanguard is here. Right now, the Vanguard army is right now going against some of what's called Marines and all that. Found out there were some Marines and all that, and of course, this is where, well, Luffy is going towards the castle. Multiple Marines are going towards Luffy, but Luffy's cutting them up like it's nothing. This is where Luffy bumps into one person only. Now, Zoro is on this island. It's just because Zoro is right now looking for some new people and all. Well, not new people, but one more person into his, like, well, what's it called, pirate ship and all that. He wanted to ask what's called the Red Eye Godslayer before he was even mentioned to be some high-ranking bounty and all that. But yeah, he can't do that. But Zoro is right now the same. Well, he is about 1.8 billion. He is a Sea Emperor. He is a green-haired Sea Emperor. So yeah. Now, of course, this is where Zoro is kind of fighting against, well, one of the admirals. Well, there are some admirals on here, but yeah. An admiral who uses gravity. Now, of course, Zoro is right now kind of getting his ass kicking on. But of course, he did train what's called Mihawk still, but yeah. Now, of course, this is where not Shanks. Zoro gets kind of pushed back into gravity and all, or gravity kind of pushes him. This is where Luffy noticed the admiral, turns around and says, "You're fighting against me now." The admiral, who is blind, turns around and uses his opposition Hawking to see Luffy. Instead of seeing colors and all that, or kind of a figure and all that, he sees this dark, ominous, just dark presence right in front of him. He says, with the dark, ominous presence kind of having red eyes. He says, "You must be the Red Eye Godslayer, also known as Monkey D. Luffy. Your presence terrifying." Yes, he's kind of sweating from the whole presence. And of course he says, "But I won't let you defeat me." He uses gravity to push Luffy down. Luffy is not being pushed down. He's running at the Admiral. The Admiral then uses his sword to slice at Luffy. Luffy grabs the sword and breaks it and says, "You think that's your best weapon?" He says, "Damn it!" Then gets punched in the face, knocking his ass out. Yeah, Luffy didn't give a fuck about the Admiral. He then lets go of the blade and rushes towards where Doflamingo's at. He heard the commotion. Doflamingo has heard the commotion. He looks outside his window and sees the mass destruction of the Vanguard army fighting against Marines. And then sees Luffy goes against one of the Admirals and destroy him easily just by punching him and breaking his weapon. And this Admiral was pretty strong. Of course, this is where Doflamingo's freaking out. He's like, "Damn it, damn it, damn it. Ugh. That's it." He uses what's called Cage Bird to trap everyone. That means also trying to kill Luffy. Luffy sees this Cage Bird, and what he does, because he noticed that what's called Doflamingo is trying to kill him, but also killing those of the innocents, Luffy, he jumps from the bottom all the way up towards where the Cage Bird is at, the middle of the Cage Bird, the strings where it kind of begin and all that. Luffy punches the strings using his armament Hawking, but going into a pure black armament Hawking, punching the middle of, well, where the kind of Cage Bird kind of starts, breaking it, shattering it. Of course, this is where Doflamingo widens his eyes and cannot do Cage Bird. Luffy is falling down, and he lands into the castle, roaring in anger. Now, of course, this is where Doflamingo freaking out and does tell what's called his family to go against Luffy. I was about to say Naruto for some reason. But of course, this is where Luffy rushes at what's called the different people that are going after him. That one guy that that one guy that is with blonde hair, sharp teeth and all that, rushes at Luffy. Luffy punches him in the face, knocking his ass out already cold. Luffy is just running at what's it called, the different people. Now Luffy says, "Get out of my way!" Uses Congress talking to knock every single person down. It's where Doflamingo feels his fear and all that. Now, of course, this is where the Marines are losing against the Vanguard army, but yeah. Luffy managed to find Doflamingo, but this is where Doflamingo has control of what's it called, that one guy that smiles and kind of punches Luffy that one time in the bar. This guy just says, "You won't hurt him." Just where Luffy cuts him down and doesn't care. He uses the sword actually cuts down any devil fruit, effects or abilities on the person. Now, of course, this is where the guy's out of control, and of course, it's cut in half, so he's dead. Luffy says, "Come here, Doflamingo. You're a celestial dragon. If I kill you, I'll kill the others. Don't make this hard on you. I will give you a quick death." And this is where Doflamingo says, "Get away from me." Keep using his strings to just keep attacking Luffy. Luffy is cutting through them like nothing but butter, using the red sword. Luffy appears right in front of Doflamingo with his lightning devil fruit that he actually has because he has every freaking fruit, and appears right in front of him, swinging his sword at Doflamingo's waist, cutting him. Doflamingo turns into a bunch of strings, but then Luffy noticed that he was the fake one and appears right again in front of the real one. So Doflamingo says, "You can't do this." He uses armament hawking into his waist. And then he gets hit by the sword. The sword cuts through the armament hawking, cutting Doflamingo in half. Doflamingo says, yo, cat, do this. Passes out and dies. Now, since Doflamingo is dead now, well, supposedly. I mean, he's not supposedly, but he's fully dead. The Vanguard army managed to kill all the Marines, and of course the people were freaking out, but again, they are now saved from what's called Doflamingo, and this is where Rebecca and also Ace appeared. Well, I mean, Ace managed to fly up there and all that, and says, "Luffy, you killed him." Luffy says, "Of course, that was my mission. Ace, I have to kill him. He's a celestial dragon descendant. I had to murder him." That's where Ace said, "No, you didn't." "Luffy, you could have just beat him up and knock him out. You didn't need to kill him." Luffy says, he says, "Ace, you're still in denial. Yet you think I am the old Luffy. I am a better Luffy. I mean, I was never the old Luffy after Sabo died. I am that one Luffy that you never met. I am darkness Luffy. I am hatred Luffy, if that's what you want to call it." This is where Ace says. But he wanted to see Sabo's name really bad. Say he's still alive, but he didn't. Instead, he did get the Yami Yami no Mi, but he says, "Fine, Luffy. I won't stop you. But stop, please. Just think about it." Luffy says, "There's nothing to think about it. Now goodbye." Luffy, what he does is what replaced Luffy was embers, but of course Luffy disappeared after that. So he disappears, but embers kind of just look like he kind of disappeared like that. Of course, this is where kind of burn a lot, but yeah, you get the point. Now this is where he says, "Damn it, Luffy." That's where Rebecca realized that Doflamingo's dead and is trying to look for her father, and actually found her. And of course, found out that her father is safe, and now, well, what's it called? The kingdom is safe. Marines are dead, but yeah. Zoro saw Luffy, and Zoro did try to attack Luffy, and Luffy pulls out his lightning sword to block all three of Zoro's swords, and says, "Zoro Noah, it's been a while. You have a 1.8 billion. I'm surprised there's the Emperor." This is Zoro says, "You bastard. Why are you here? What did you do?" Luffy says, nothing. Now be gone. Luffy knees Zoro into the, well, a bunch of not craters, well, into a, what's called multiple buildings, making multiple craters. So yeah. Now this is where Luffy disappears. And of course, Doflamingo being dead, that happens. But before he was even going to leave, he did kind of see a kid with kind of being a pink dragon. A kid that, well, another person that looks like he was, what's it called? Having a samurai outfit. And of course, a man with red hair. Red bright hair and all that. That's being the trader of, well, what's it called? Monoma and what's it called? Not Monoma. Yeah, Momo and what's it called? The other guy. Being the trader of that group because he is the reason why his father died. Momo's father died. I think that's his name. The kid, I forgot his name. But exactly, Luffy, he appears right in front of the red hair guy and says, "You're one of Kaido's men, aren't you?" The red hair guy turns around and looks at, well, the red-eyed Godslayer right in front of him. And he says, "No, I'm not. Quit your bullshitting and tell me, is Kaido still in Wano?" This is where the guy kind of nods slowly, and Luffy says, "Thank you." Rips the guy's head off. Of course, where the pink dragon kind of freaks out and hides behind the samurai and all. And the samurai says, "What do you want, red-eyed Godslayer?" Luffy says, "Oh, nothing. I'm just here to free Wano from Kaiden. But I will do that later after I destroy Big Mama." Luffy and his elites disappear. And also, multiple Vanguard already disappeared and went to the boat. But yeah, Luffy is right now on the water, kind of just surfing on it. Because Luffy is immune to water and can control water. Like that fisherman. But he is not a fisherman, so yeah. This is where Luffy kind of gets back to the island and now plans to kill Big Mama. But this is when I ended off. Yes, I mean it's 37 minutes, but yes. This is actually where I ended off for part 5. So part 6 will probably be the end if I get to Big Mama and Kaiden. And also, I'm actually, I know how to end this out and anything. One Piece hasn't really finished or ended or anything. But, yeah, I'm actually, well, Big Mama, Kaiden, and someone else are gonna fall in. Now, the Celestial Dragons, they are now, since there's like 20, I think I mentioned, 7 Luffy kills. You do the math, there's a couple of Luffy going to go kill them. But yeah. Now, what's it called? Yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. This what if is, well, you're wondering why I haven't done like the other what ifs, like what's called for Luffy and all that. This what if is a little bit much easier for me to do, is cause, well, I'm only focusing on kind of Luffy, Sabo, and Ace. Well, mostly Luffy, exactly, cause Luffy is mostly doesn't have his crew and all that. He does have the 6 elites and all that, but they don't have names, and I'm gonna just keep saying 6 elites. You can probably name them with their weapons and all that. Yeah, you can think of that, but I'm not gonna be kind of naming them out. So, I have a way for this what if to end. It's pretty much so much easier for me, but yeah. Have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. Until I watch more arcs of, well, the different, well, One Piece or anything. I will finish the other One Piece what if, but that will be until later. But yeah, bye-bye. Potato.